Hey friends, I have an amazing treat for you today. In this episode, I'm going to spill the beans on exactly how I made my first $1 million. I'll give you the exact 5 pillars I use and how you can use them too. I know you're going to love this. Welcome to the Immigrant to Millionaire podcast. This is where we study what the wealthiest and most successful people do. Why? Well, because success leaves clues. Not only do we study these successful people, we implement what we learn so that we create the life we want and deserve. My name is Joy Roland, your host. I'm an immigrant that implemented the knowledge I learned from great men and women and became a millionaire in 3 years of arriving in Canada. It's now my mission to share my knowledge with as many people as possible. Pour yourself a cup of coffee or tea. This is going to be fun. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the Immigrant to Millionaire podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the 5 pillars of wealth. To have a very secure financial future, you need every single one of these pillars. Before we dive in, I just want to let you know that I have some spots open in my calendar. You can book a one on one session with me so I can help you create a custom plan that takes into account your current financial situation. At the end of this 1 hour, you'll know exactly what you should be working on to build your empire. Spots fill up very fast, so book now. The link to book will be in the show notes. Okay, so let's dive into my 5 pillars of building your empire. The first one is a job or a business. I know. Many people who talk about creating wealth tend not to talk about jobs. But in my experience, a job is a very good foundation. So I'm not going to tell you to quit your job like most people tell you to do until you've built your wealth to a specific level. So, for example, I only took a step back from my day job just earlier this year. So, way after I started making my money, I was still working. So, your job or your business is where you make the bulk of your money right now until you scale your wealth. So this is your 9 to 5 job. Like what takes your time from 9 o'clock until 5 p.m. And your aim is to get the income from your job to at least 150,000 US dollars. Well, why is that? Well, because this will give you a very strong foundation on which you'll be able to access credit. So, for example, when it comes to getting your first home or even your subsequent investment properties, you'll need a very stable high income to get good rates from the banks. So the next pillar is real estate. Um, so your first property and then multiple properties. Now, when you look back into history, real estate has been proven to be the one vehicle, the one wealth creation vehicle that gives you the most return on investment over the course of time. So, for example, tell me what investment could give you $500,000 in equity, like profit, in just 3 years. Like it, you'll be very hard pressed to find an example. But in real estate, for example, in Canada, just before the pandemic, people had made tons and tons of money on their real estate in just 3 years. You'll also be able to consider tax strategies as you build your wealth in real estate. There are plenty tax strategies to help you limit your tax liabilities. So, for example, as you buy more and more investment properties, there are tax strategies you need to implement so that you don't pay taxes on all of the equities your properties accumulate over time. So, that's a story for another day. Number three in my pillar for wealth building is a side business. So I call this my weekend business. So this is a business that helps you get more cash flow over the weekend. So this primarily involves selling your knowledge and experience. So some of mine include how to get Canadian PR. So back in the day, I used to teach people how to apply for and get Canadian PR. I also used to teach the immigration process. Another thing I used to do Saturdays and Sundays was teach people how to land high paying jobs in IT. I even wrote a book, which is actually available now on Amazon, on how to land a high paying job in IT, specifically for business analysts. Now, another thing I did was teaching people how to become a business analyst and a product manager. So these are some of the things I did on Saturdays and Sundays, and in one weekend I was able to make $10,000 just for Saturday and Sunday. So this is something for you to heavily consider to add to your empire as you build your wealth. I know many people will say, "Oh, I have nothing to teach. I'm not like you, Joy. I don't have anything that someone would want to pay me for." Well, I want you to think about that again. If you go online, there are tons of things that people teach that will surprise you. For example, these are some of the things I've seen online. So, some people teach how to raise children on the autism spectrum, right? So, this particular couple, they had a child. They currently have a child who's, I think, he's 16 now, and now they get to teach other parents who have children on the autism spectrum. Another one I've seen online is people teaching you how to organize your home, right? Another one is how to raise teenagers, right? So we all know when children get to that teenage year, um, it becomes kind of challenging to say the least. So people teach people online how to um, raise teenagers. Another one is if, for example, you're a mom and you've been able to potty train your children. I've seen people teaching people online and charging good money for teaching people how to potty train, right? Another one is if you've gone through a divorce, for example, you could coach people on going through difficult divorces. Another one is if you have experience with dealing with picky eaters as children, you could teach other moms how to give healthy foods to children who are picky. Another one is how to teach seniors to use social media. So, people over the age of 70, for example, who struggle to use social media. So, these are some business ideas that I've actually just given you. And you can use these ideas to generate additional income over the weekend. So, let's say you have a 9 to 5 job in a bank, for example, and you say, "Oh, I can actually teach other people how to do the kind of job I do." Or maybe you're an accountant, maybe you do taxes. Like the options are just limitless on things you can do to earn money over the weekend. So that's pillar number three. So, like I said, the reason why this pillar is so important is because you can easily add to your cash flow. So, say for example, if you were trying to buy a detached property, for example, currently the average around Canada is about 2.2 million. Well, this is 1.5 million, right? To be very conservative. Now, to be able to qualify for a mortgage for 1.5 million, you need a down payment of 20%, right? So you can see how much you need to raise. So if you have a side business on the weekend, you can actually get income to fund your real estate investments. Okay. So number four is passive income. Now, this one is the ultimate wealth building vehicle because you make money while you sleep. It doesn't require your active involvement. So, the one I just talked about, the side business, you have to be there Saturday and Sunday to teach the people who have paid you what to do, right? But with passive income, you get paid while you sleep. And that's why it's so genius because you are not changing time for dollars. You work one time and you get paid over and over and over again. So I'll give you an example of passive income. So I wrote a book, the book I told you about, on how to land a high paying job, how to nail the interview for a business analyst role. I wrote that book in 2019 and it's self-published. It's on Amazon. Amazon does all the printing and shipping to the customer. I just get paid royalties, right? Whenever someone orders my book on Amazon, Amazon pays me royalties. So that's an example of passive income. Now you might say, "Oh, you don't want to write a book, or you don't have an idea of what passive income to go into. Well, do you know someone called Robert Kiyosaki? I hope you do, because he's the author of a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's a very popular book on creating wealth. And Robert Kiyosaki says that the business model that holds the greatest promise for building genuine wealth is network marketing. Yes, Robert is such a smart and wealthy person that when he speaks, I listen. So you might ask, what is network marketing? Well, network marketing is a business model that uses word of mouth marketing. So, for example, if I went to a restaurant and I enjoyed the food and I see my friend and I'm like, oh, you gotta try this restaurant. It's so amazing. And then my friend goes and actually eats in that restaurant, then if that restaurant pays me a commission for referring my friend to them, that's it's a way of network marketing. Another way to think about this is influencer marketing. Like, it's become very popular where companies pay influencers to promote their products. It's like exactly what network marketing is. And you'll be very surprised that people make insane amounts of money in network marketing. And remember, this is passive income. So you do the business activity one time and then you get paid over and over again. This is ingenious. And my friends, if you haven't started looking into network marketing, you need to do that now. But the thing is, you must choose the right product and the right company. And what do I mean by choosing the right product and the right company? Well, there are tons and tons of network marketing products out there, right? And it's just like a me too product. For you to be hugely successful in network marketing, I believe the products have to be unique. So, for example, if you were selling aloe vera products, CBD oil, weight loss supplements, toothpaste, body wash, all of these things, customers can actually go on Amazon and get them for cheaper. Okay, so it's very difficult to make good money in network marketing when you are promoting these kind of products. And the question is, you have to keep asking yourself is, why should customer buy from me when they can get it product cheaper online? But think about this: if you were selling something very unique, um, that makes it so much easier to make money. So I personally work with a biotech company in the US. And the reason I've gone with them is because they have a breakthrough technology that was discovered by scientists. Now, this technology is not available anywhere else, and nobody can copy them because they have over 200 patents already on the product. So, legally, nobody can copy this technology. And what's this technology? Well, this biotechnology teaches the human body how to repair damaged cells. So, it resolves health conditions like heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, kidney issues, and so much more. And to be honest, I stumbled on this technology by chance. One day back in April of 2023, so this year, I was listening to a podcast like you are listening right now, and this white lady in the US was being interviewed on the podcast, and she was talking about going through my experience. So she was hit by a drunk driver. She was involved in an accident. So this driver was drunk and hit this lady, and she suffered severe brain damage. So she had to go through surgery. She had to go through a series of medical interventions. And at the end of the day, she wasn't getting better. And then the doctor told her that, well, your body has healed to the level it can heal, and this is how your life will be forever. You just have to accept it and move on with your life. Well, she didn't want to do that, and she kept searching for solutions. And this was how she stumbled on this technology. And she said after taking this technology, her brain injury resolved. And so when I heard this story on the podcast, I actually contacted her on social media. I'm like, her name is Danielle. I'm like, Danielle, I heard you on this podcast. Please, I want to find out more. And at the time, I was dealing with depression myself. That's a story for another day. So I got a 30-day trial of this product, and in about a week, I started to see improvement in my condition. And bear in mind, the depression I was suffering was clinical depression. I was already prescribed antidepressants that didn't work. right? So my depression was drug resistant. So this biotechnology helped me, and within a week, I could just see dramatic changes in my health. So I'm like, what's this thing? And then Danielle told me, well, this company refused to sell to a pharmaceutical company, and they only rely on word of mouth. So this was how I got involved. And so far, I've made good money, um, just sharing my story and connecting with people on social media. So, you already spend time on Instagram and Facebook. So why not make money? And the reason why everyone should be making money in network marketing is because this is the one industry where there's no racial discrimination, right? So you can become wealthy in network marketing regardless of the color of your skin and your accent. Okay. So if you're already spending time on social media, like I said, why not get paid to do it? So if you want to find out more on this biotechnology, and if you want to get involved in this company, this biotechnology, just send me a DM on either Facebook or Instagram, and I'll send you all the information. Now, if Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, says network marketing is the business model with the greatest potential, then you owe yourself that much to look and see if you can make it one of the pillars of your wealth creation empire. Okay, so that's number four. Number five, it's dividend investing and index investing. Now, I only recommend this strategy when you've built up your wealth in real estate and you have some spare money. Now, this type of investing is very boring, right? This is not gambling. Like, if you're interested in gambling in cryptocurrency and day trading, then this is not the strategy for you. I personally, I'm not interested in gambling my hard-earned money. I only choose to invest in companies that are mature. So, what is dividend investing? Dividend investing is when you invest in mature companies and you buy stocks in those companies, and then the company will pay you dividends, which is like interest on your investments every single year. Some companies pay every quarter, but typically every year. And then you can reinvest those dividends back into buying more stocks. So, for example, if you're in Canada, companies that are mature are like TD Bank, RBC, Scotiabank. Um, if you are in the US, the top banks, um, and even companies like Walmart, McDonald's, those are very mature companies that you can reliably buy stocks in that will pay you dividend every single year. Now, the second one is index investing. Index investing is when you invest in tracking a particular index. So, for example, the S&P 500 or the TSX if you're here in Canada or the FTSE 100 in the UK. So, these are very safe ways to build income while limiting the risk and exposure. Okay. And the beauty of dividend investing and index investing is you get to run your investments. So I personally run my investments. I do not pay any management fees to fund managers because those management fees actually add up. Okay. So to summarize, these are the five pillars to build your wealth. The first one is a job, a 9 to 5 job or a business. Second one is real estate. Third one is a side business or your weekend business. The fourth one is passive income using network marketing. And then the fifth one is dividend investing and index investing. Now, if you haven't done so already, grab 1 hour in my calendar for a clarity call to create your own unique roadmap to creating wealth. This is a private session where I'll answer all of the questions you have and guide you on where you should be focusing your efforts right now to build your empire. I've made this 1 hour very cheap so that everybody can afford it. So if you're truly serious about creating wealth, then book your 1 hour right away. Now, you might ask yourself, what's my strategy? So, when I work with you, first we need to calculate your net worth, right? We need to know your baseline, exactly where you are right now, your financial situation. Next one is debt repayment. So, if you carry any debt that is outside of mortgage, so if you carry, let's say you have a car loan or you have a credit card debt, we have to pay off all of those debt first. because the reason is you are paying insane amount of interest carrying that debt. Um, the third strategy is to get a high paying job. So I've explained in my in earlier why having a job that pays you at least 150,000 US dollars is very, very important to building wealth. The fourth step in my strategy is to sell your knowledge and experience. So, I talked about earlier about how you can sell your knowledge and experience on Saturdays and Sundays. This is very important, and I'm going to work with you to come up with what you can sell. I know you might think, oh, Joy, I don't have anything to teach people. I'm going to prove to you that that's wrong. You can teach people something on a Saturday and Sunday and get paid. The fifth one is to set up your passive income business. So everyone can start that right now today. So there's nothing to wait for. The one I talked to you about earlier, with just $40, 40, you can get started and you can select what products you need to try, right? And you have 30 days money back guarantee. So there is no excuse not to start building your wealth today. The next one is to buy your first home. So if you already have a first home, then you need to start thinking about investment properties. So like I said, real estate is one of the vehicles that will give you the biggest return on investment. Okay. And then the last one is dividend and index investing. I know, like I explained, this is boring, but this is the safe way to get returns on your money without exposing yourself to unnecessary risk. So again, spots are limited. So grab 1 hour in my calendar right now. So you have your own unique roadmap to start building your wealth. You've already tried to do this yourself. Where has that gotten you? I look forward to helping you get clear on exactly where you should be focusing right now to see the fastest result. So excited for your future. So, my friend, if this podcast encouraged, inspired, or taught you something new, please do me a huge favor by leaving me a review. Just go to Apple Podcasts, find the show, go to the main page where you see a list of all of the episodes, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the list, and write me a review. This will let me know that all of the hard work I've poured into making this podcast is worth something. I'd also love for you to share this with your friend who could use all of the free value I provide on this podcast. I'll be forever grateful. I believe in good karma, and I know that when you do good things will come back to you 10 times. And lastly, come on over to my Facebook community to get support as you build your empire. This is an exclusive group of high-achieving and ambitious people actively working on getting wealthy. Find the link to the group in the show notes, my friend. I hope to see you back here soon. God bless you.